Hello, welcome back to the second semi-finals. At the moment we have charismacheck versus Moxie. Moxie, of course, thus far undefeated in the tournament, and charismacheck only having lost one game to, I believe it was Zhang, who is currently no longer in the tournament. So, all to play for here, two very strong trainers.
Yeah, it's looking like a very interesting match. Kind of some interesting sets that's on the Pokemon. They kind of lean towards like giving us kind of hints of how they're trained. I'm not sure how much things we can discuss at this moment. If we look at Moxie, they are running the team of Salamence, Great Tusk, Amoonguss, Rotom, Heat, Frostmoth, and King Gambit. While if we look on Prisma's side, we have Cerulege, Vivian, Mousehold, Goldengo, Iron Bundle, and Fluttermane. So these bug types, you don't really see them that often in the format, which the fact that these have both done super well and come into this format kind of shows like there's really crazy niche Pokemon that you can bring out in these formats.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that said Frostmoth is Terra Water, so that just negates the 4 times weakness of fire typing. So if Charisma ever wants to bring out the Frostmoth.
Looks like we're going straight into team preview here.
If Moxie ever wants to bring out the Frostmoth, that is.
Yeah.
Looks like we got Moxie POV.
Yep. So we kind of see the Pokemon. Some other things that are interesting. We see that there's a lot of ghost types on Prisma's end. And additionally, the Mousehold does have that Ghost Terra type. So if I'm looking at things from Moxie side of things, I am highly eyeing that King Gambit, just of how important a piece that'll be. Just being able to Sucker Punch or maybe get some chip damage with a partner and clean up most of the team with that assurance. But yeah.
That assurance is looking very depth, various ghost types that charismacheck has. Especially because it's, I believe there's double damage if they've already taken damage on that turn.
Yep, so like say if you want to like play around the Focus Sash, you do a little chip and then clean up with the assurance, or looks like they are bleed. And then okay, looks like we're just about to get going here with this first game. Okay.
I was thinking maybe you'd even Rage Powder with a Moongus, just to proc Rocky Helmet.
Yeah, let's see.
I'm not quite sure. I'm not terribly sure if that's particularly viable. But
looks like this Mousehold doesn't have population bombs, so it's not as strong, and most of the other Pokemon on this team are special attackers, so it really only comes out with the Mousehold and the Cerulege. But looks like we're about to get started. Charisma is going to lead with the Cerulege and the Mousehold, while on Moxie's side, we're going to see the Rotom and the Great Tusk.
Decent opening, I think, from both sides. Really, in this first setup, you know, you can just open with almost whatever, because you really don't know. It's the first turn, essentially.
Yeah.
So you really don't know how each Pokemon are going to interact with each other.
Wait, Discharge?
Huh. They're going for a Discharge Earthquake.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very good combo, and it pressures both these leads. It kind of more or less forces this Cerulege to switch out, since it can't really resist this Earthquake, given its Terra type is Steel. So, at the very least, you do the Discharge, you get some damage into both these Pokemon, and you break the Focus Sash on the Vivian. But as we can kind of see, both these Pokemon have Friend Guard, so they're kind of helping each other out. As we can see, that Mousehold didn't really take that much from the Discharge, and even the combo barely brought it just under half. So the Mousehold will be able to taunt the Great Tusk. So looks like, I believe, it won't be able to protect itself, which in this current position is not going to be that big a deal. But say like if Charisma can position a proper like Pokemon to get some damage in this Great Tusk, then it won't be able to protect itself.
I think a decent choice to withdraw the Mousehold. Sorry, you've already got the Pavilion on there with Friend Guard, so that's going to apply either way. That's a very interesting shiny, which I haven't seen before.
Like this. Ensure your Vivian survives the turn, and that way maybe you can set a Tailwind, or you can cover it with a Rage Powder, cover the Fluttermane with a Rage Powder, because even though this is Friend Guard, Fluttermane does not have the best defense stat. So that was a good read, going for the Headlong Rush instead. That just nailed that Fluttermane on the switch. Yeah, catching that Fluttermane on Protect. Or actually, I guess you don't necessarily need to make that read in this scenario since neither Vivian nor Rotom are being hit by this, so
yeah,
there's
that
no downside.
Fluttermane I think is kind of a very heavy hitter as well, especially with that life orb that it's holding. And you know, it's a good thing to be able to take that out early, especially, you know, with it having Moonblast and Shadow Ball on that move pool.
And I do like that Moxie is just committing to the headlong rush play since sure, the mouse hold could come back in for the Vivian, but we have already seen that this Rotom with the Choice Scarf outspeeds the mouse hold. And even then, with every discharge, it's like Scald, where like you should expect a paralysis after a couple goes since it's 30% every single time.
Ooh, a crit on the mouse hold and a paralysis.
Man, okay.
And on the Cerulege as well.
That was this was bad, but now it's
Yep.
like one would have been bad, but both is just worse. Unfortunately. Go ahead.
I mean, I guess we can see why Moxie is thus far undefeated. I mean, it's kind of making short work of Charisma's Mob.
I mean, this is more or less a checkmate position in this board state. Depending on how the Great Tusk and the Cerulege are trained, the paralysis may have mattered, since maybe if, say, the Cerulege is trained to be super fast, while the Great Tusk might be a little slower, and I've been able to punch it with a Bitter Blade. I would have liked to have been able to confirm that information one way or the other, but unfortunately we weren't able to.
Oh no, that's a full-on resign.
Yeah, both this Mousehole and this Pavilion are trained to be more supportive Pokemon, and yeah, at that board state, both your heavy damage dealers were gone. I think going into this next game, I think it would be ideal for Charisma to maybe leave one of these two supportive Pokemon in the back, and so that way you don't get essentially pinned super early.
Yeah, I'd imagine that they're gonna leave behind the Pavilion, because after a certain point, the value that it brings with the Front Guard is just kind of not particularly enough. You've got the Mouse Hold as well, so you don't really need that Rage Powder because the Mouse Hold has the Follow Me available. And, Pavilion's Terra type is... Sorry?
No, go ahead.
I mean, Pavilion's Terra type is bugged, so you can't really Terra into anything particularly interesting.
Yeah. But at the same time, we see on the open team sheets for both players, there is that Tailwind option on both teams. I think, in a sense, you might be leaning more towards the Vivian just so that you have that speed advantage, or at least can keep up. So now we're going into game 2. Looks like Fluttermane Iron Bundle. Okay, so this is a lot more of an aggressive lead into Rotom Frostmoth. I think this was a good adaptation on Charisma's end, because with the booster energy, Iron Bundle would even outspeed that Rotom with a Choice Scarf, and just be able to apply immediate offensive pressure. Here, it's going to be kind of weird, because we know this Frostmoth has Wide Guard. Everyone knows this Frostmoth has Wide Guard.
Yeah, I'd be surprised to see... Oh, wow, the Terra that early.
Yeah, I think this makes sense. You want to avoid the high contact and getting instantly knocked out. Maybe we could probably infer that because of the Choice Scarf and how fast it was going, that Moxie's... Oh, we did actually see that the Rotom is faster than the Great Tusk. Or at the very least, it was a speed tie. But a Protect from the Iron Bundle absorbs the Volt Switch. And now Prisma's been able to burn... Ooh, the substitute from the Fluttermane.
A very defensive turn there from Moxie, but it does allow... a very defensive turn from Charisma, sorry, but it does allow Moxie to get off that Tailwind, get some speed control, speed advantage here.
Yeah.
Considering swapping... It goes for the Volt Switch, which I guess is fair enough. If you're going to switch anyway, you may as well have a damage advantage while you're at it.
I would assume that this Rotom might be trained in its speed and special attack stat, given we saw that it outsped the Great Tusk earlier in the set. So I would expect it to outspeed, and I think Moxie sees this and is about to tear the Iron Bundle into an Ice type to maybe survive this Volt Switch and punish whatever comes in.
I do apologize. It is charisma terror typing. It's just the names yeah,
Charisma,
the
yes,
names
I'm
are
so sorry, my bad.
we
Yeah,
are Moxie POV.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, Charisma sees that I just protected. I'm about to get Volt Switch. That was a good way to keep it in, and probably punish whatever comes in with this Hydro Pump. Moxie's gonna go into the King Gambit here.
Like it.
Hydro Pump comes in. Yeah, King Gambit just takes out like a champ with the Assault Vest.
A lovely read. I think he was trying to. Oh, face the substitute.
Yeah.
One attack.
I believe Frostmoth actually has a pretty strong. Oh snap! Let's see. Sorry, I saw that move. I was like, oh, are we gonna see a Defiant proc here? I believe Frostmoth actually has a very strong special attack stat and special defense stat. Just kind of those other areas where it's not as strong as most people would like it to be. The King Gambit very much is pressuring a KO on either slot, but it might be risking trading itself for whichever it targets. It's given how low health it is, and since it is holding that Assault Vest, it won't be able to protect itself.
Goes for the Sucker Punch on the Iron Bundle.
Ooh,
yep.
The bundle protects.
Good read.
Yep. Sucker Punch is a strong move, but it very much forces those mind games with the protect.
The double protect.
That's a little bit of a risky play since, yes, you do guarantee that the Sucker Punch does not happen this turn, but now you're kind of playing that mind game with both slots this time. I'm not sure if the Iron Bundle has another non-damaging move you can go for to play around the Sucker Punch. It does have Encore. Okay. So there's the Encore, there's the Substitute. So depending on how this turn plays, Charisma could kind of reestablish their board state for free, depending on how Moxie chooses to target and what moves they choose to click.
Goes for the Sucker Punch on the Iron Bundle. That's clean and simple. I think same moves as last time, but just canceling on the fact that...
Yep.
Oh, no!
Goes for the Encore, which... It's a risk versus reward slot at the moment, because depending on how this Fluttermane handles this... Yep, it goes for the Substitute here.
Very low HP Fluttermane, though.
So with this position, you could, in theory, just try to position yourself. Like, you know that for this turn, if you don't attack, you don't need to worry about the King Gambit. You could maybe go for a double switch on this forced Sucker Punch, and then maybe try to reestablish your positioning for later in the game. Because it looks like Moxie's going to try to reset the tailwind here.
Yeah, I like the idea, you know? Give yourself more speed control. Even if you are forced into a priority move, it never hurts to have that.
Yeah.
Withdraws the Iron Bundle, just protecting from said Sucker Punch. Pavilion comes out.
Okay. So... a Protect, okay.
Well,
I think that is
substituted.
fair. That way you don't need to worry about your substitute being broken this turn. And you can and this turn you can safely match the Tailwind or maybe protect the substitute one more turn with a Follow Me or Rage Powder in this case. My bad. Because there's still 2 more turns of this Encore.
I feel bad. Every time they've gone for Sucker Punch, it's just not worked for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well...
It was a good read from Charisma. So
yeah, that Encore play was very well designed. Was very well played since it very much pins that slot. It's not being able to do anything. And we talked earlier, kind of going into the set, about how that King Gambit is a very good piece, like a very good Pokemon to have in this matchup. But being able to just nullify that slot. Goes for the Ice Beam, breaks the Focus Sash on the Pavilion, while the King Gambit kind of resets that Encore and can exert the pressure next turn. Goes for another substitute. Oh, goes for the
Can you Pollen Puff a substitute?
Looks like it.
I suppose, yeah, okay, sure. I think maybe they were just concerned about having the substitute broken, so they wanted to go for it as sort of insurance.
Well, we know for the speed that the Fluttermane would have moved first, unless Charisma has a very bulky Fluttermane. Wide guard, huh?
That doesn't do
I
anything.
don't. Yeah, the Flutter Mane only has Shadow Ball.
Yeah. Has Moonblast and Shadow Ball. Pavilion is purely support. Only Pollen Puff is really
Yeah.
for the attack. I'm not quite sure what the Wide Guard is trying to accomplish
Oh,
here.
because you're trying to protect yourself from the discharge. That's why.
Ah, I see.
Break.
That makes sense.
Take out the break out the Pavilion. Maybe get lucky and break the substitute. Yeah, I forgot that Wide Guard protects both yourself and your team, like both your teammates and whether that's your teammate's attack or your partner's attack. Well, that Moonblast is going to significantly chunk that Rotom Heat. Ooh, and the special attack drop.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
I think part of me is wondering what is Charisma's last Pokemon in this scenario, since depending on what that Pokemon is, that kind
Seems
of
like
opens
a
up.
great Tusk.
Yeah, Moxie brought Great Tusk as their last.
Ah, right. Yeah. Once again,
Yeah.
the backwards
Yeah.
UI kind of did
Oh,
catch
that's
me out there.
So Frostbolt's gonna go ahead and switch out here. And it looks like it's gonna go into that Great Tusk, which with the Rotom having the Choice Scarf and Moxie having the Tailwind, this is a fairly safe switch. Like you'll probably trade the substitute for your Rotom in this scenario. Oh, but the Fluttermane's gonna go for the Protect.
Bloodmane's really trying to just stay alive for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Playing very, very defensively. Good discharge from the Rotom.
Yep.
And Great Tusk is also a good choice here because not affected by the electric type move.
Yep.
No more Tailwind though, either.
Right. So now we're gonna see that interaction I was curious about before. The Tailwind is gone. So we know the Rotom is trained to be faster than the Great Tusk. Well, so the Rotom is Choice Scarf, so it is faster than the Great Tusk, naturally, but I'm curious to see if maybe this Great Tusk is trained to be super fast, and if so, that'll outspeed the Cerulege. But if not, there might be an opportunity for this Fluttermane and the Cerulege to take out the Great Tusk and leave this Rotom that's with a lowered special attack and low HP kind of stuck.
Go for the Earthquake, it looks like. Trying to... Will we see a Terra?
Oh, yeah, no.
Doesn't look like it.
That makes sense. Well, no, Charisma already committed their Terra, going Terra Ice on the Iron Bundle.
Ah, yes. Yes. And that's the Pokemon that they have in the wings.
Yep, it's in the back, and I think in this scenario, if you can get rid of that Great Tusk, yeah, no, the fact that Cerulege also survived that, like that special attack drop, we're kind of seeing that pay dividends in the Cerulege hanging on.
Yep.
Because now, sure, you can bring in your King Gambit and threaten Sucker Punch, but for those who do not know, if Sucker Punch goes after the target, regardless of you use an attack, it will fail. So this Cerulege is free to take out the Rotom here with a Shadow Sneak. Or maybe even they play risky and double protect, see if maybe the Rotom can do some free chip into this King Gambit, or at the very least force Moxie to switch it out.
Oh, we shall see in due time. Goes for the Sucker Punch onto the Cerulege. Protect. I mean,
Yep, protect, so that'll deny the
that's
Sucker
rough.
Punch. Okay, so that'll come out. Now we'll see the Rotom to the discharge. That'll do some damage in both Pokemon.
I wonder if the King Gambit dies to discharge, honestly. No.
Nah, it hangs on
Wait.
thanks to the Assault Vest. Ooh, the Fluttermane tries to substitute. I think maybe Charisma's anticipating a switch so that you wouldn't have to hit your own, so that Moxie wouldn't hit their own King Gambit. But yeah, now that King Gambit, like one of these two Pokemon on Moxie's side has to switch out, because either Rotom will knock out the King Gambit, or or I guess that's kind of what happens in this situation. If they both stay in, Rotom risks knocking out its partner. Especially if, say, the Cerulege did a Shadow Sneak to guarantee it.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you're just kind of forced to swap in, your Frostmoth. And the Rotom Heat's Choice Scarf anyway, so you can't use any other move bar Discharge.
Yeah.
So it's...
Rotom's Discharge. That'll take out the Fluttermane. Ooh, the Self-Para.
That's
That is
rough. It
Oh,
doesn't
the
even take
Fluttermane
out
hangs
the
on.
Fluttermane. Yeah, hangs on.
Yeah, Moonblast is damage. And the Flutterman
Life
goes down
Orb,
for the
though.
Life Orb.
Yeah.
Depending on how these Cyber Edge targets, this might just be the game. Ooh, a Bulk Up.
That's just greedy.
Yeah,
I like it, though.
I mean, yeah, I do feel it's very greedy because now the Billion comes back in. I'm not sure if +1 Shadow Sneak KOs the Frostmoth from here. Because
Maybe it does.
Because if you could pin this Rotom, having to attack its partner every turn.
I mean, it does anyway. And
Yeah.
I imagine because it's Choice Scarf, it might even be faster than the Cerulege, so I wouldn't even go for the Shadow Sneak.
True. Oh, okay. Yep. Going for the White Guard play again. Right. I forgot. As long as the Frostmoth is in play, the Rotom does not even worry about that.
Yeah.
So in this case, you probably would want to go for the Shadow Sneak with the Cellular Edge to kind of force that annoying situation. But we'll see how it caps out. Ooh, Shadow Sneak into the Rotom to finish it off.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, no, I think that's
out the
totally
Rotom.
fine. Because now the King Gambit comes in, and I think after that attack boost from the Bulk Up, the Shadow Sneak should be able to finish off this King Gambit.
I mean, I imagine it would have done anyway. I mean, I'm not sure if the King Gambit's still on court. It doesn't seem to be, due to the fact that they just went for the Assurance.
Yeah.
Ice Beam as well.
The Vivian goes for the Rage
Powder.
Powder.
The Rage Powder to redirect.
Okay. That's fair, because that way you can just safely Bitter Blade if you're unsure on that calculation.
Yeah.
And, like, Pavilion hasn't done much, but it's done in this game. Just absorbing hits through the Protect or the Focus Sash. And keeping Cellular Edge healthy enough with the Friend Guard as well. Yeah, but definitely we can see how great, like how much things can change in the best of three, seeing as that first game we saw Moxie kind of just dominate. But here is a lot of careful board positioning. Charisma was able to kind of stay in the driver's seat for most of this game, and keep it stay on top.
Yeah, I think the Fluttermane as well, holding on for so long, was kind of key there, because it really sort of left Moxie kind of high and dry in terms of damage done, because it kept substituting out, and even when it was substituted, it was protecting. It just
okay.
Was having fun.
So, however, I know most fire moves instantly thaw you out. I don't know if Bitter Blade is one of those. Looks like it's not. Okay. So I do respect Charisma playing it safe with the Freeze Dry instead of the Hydro Pump last turn, because you don't want to risk losing the game off a miss, and the odds of you missing your Hydro Pump are a lot higher than your opponent freezing you with Ice Beam. So.
Thank you very much, username, for dragging over the names.
Yes. But yeah, no, it's been a good set so far. We're now gonna go into the finals.
Yeah, final round of this set. Winner of this will, of course, be going to the finals.
Yeah. Looks like... So Moxie has stuck with the same 4 Pokemon. They've just kind of altered the order that they brought them. Looking at things, I could see a high risk, high reward merit to bring in the Salamence this game, because between the Draco Meteor and the Flamethrower, it can really nail most of this opposing team. But it has to be wary of the Fluttermane and the Iron Bundle, and it kind of gets forced to Terrasilize in that situation. And then on Charisma's end, I don't see a reason to really change which Pokemon you brought. Since like maybe if you can set out your own Tailwind, the Golden Go can kind of go nuts, but it's not. While Vivillon does have the Focus Sash, it doesn't really have the bulk to set up a Tailwind like the Frostmoth, and it doesn't have that instant priority
fair.
like we would see with a Murkrow or a Talonflame.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
Yep. All right, game 3. Here we go.
We'll see what happens.
Charisma is going to go in with the same lead as in game 2, the Fluttermane and Iron Bundle, while Kingambit and Frostmoth. So now here's the question. On Charisma's end, do you try to read this instant Sucker Punch and try to lock it in with the Encore like you did in game 2?
I mean, there's the whole fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me aspect to it. But, you know, I reckon they'd also imagine that Moxie would want to play safe and try not to do that. Because it ended up just completely neutering Kingambit's effectiveness throughout that entire second round.
Okay, so Fluttermane's going to go for a Protect here. Well, Iron Bundle is just going to go for a nice Hydro Pump, which, as we saw, it needs about probably like 3 hits to knock it out, but if nothing else, you can kind of set up the chip damage, and that way you can also safely double into that slot safely next turn without having to risk, say, proccing Defiant and making a bigger problem out of it than it already is.
Good read to protect the Fluttermane as well from the Kingambit. Perhaps anticipating the Iron Head. Of course, can't protect. Well, you can protect 2 times in a row. It's just advised not. You just advise not to.
If you want to roll the dice, you can. Though at the same time, by going for the Iron Head again, looks like you do run the risk of getting your Kingambit knocked out, since both these Pokemon are much faster than it.
Yeah, but you do have the Tailwind set up.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know how this Kingambit is trained. Maybe it's trained to be faster. Ooh, but the Stellar Edge coming in to take this Iron Head like a champ.
Very nice. Encore as well.
Okay.
Ooh.
They tried to hit the Frostmoth with the Encore, so now the Bone comes in safely, and now there's I very much like Moxie's position here, because now you can fairly safely switch out your Kingambit. Like, yes, if you go into the Frostmoth, it'll take a little damage, but that Ice Scales means that it won't really take that much if it comes in, or you can just go straight to the Great Tusk. Though I believe with the booster energy, the Iron Bundle will still be faster, so it might kind of force this Rotom to Terra Fairy again, which Charisma can kind of take advantage of.
We're gonna go for the Discharge instead. Terra coming out from Charisma. Who's it gonna go on?
The Stellar Edge this time. Interesting.
Yep. It's Terra Steel as well. Not one you often see, but you only see the Terra Grass. But actually, I don't mind it. It's just a decent defensive type all around. Tech coming out from Iron Bundle as well, in order to safeguard it against any kind of focus.
And this is probably so that maybe they're anticipating the Discharge Assurance. Yep, that comes out, but it's still going to take up the Stellar Edge. That is unfortunate. Yeah, because like we mentioned kind of at the very beginning of the set, Assurance, if you do any chip damage whatsoever, that becomes a 120 base power move. So it's very good for just cleaning something up, and it takes advantage of Kingambit's very low speed in these faster team compositions. Looks like Moxie's looking to kind of get the Kingambit out of there, and then kind of go from there. Okay, so the Fluttermane's gonna go switch out, and the Pavillion's gonna come back in. Well, the Kingambit will switch on Moxie's end, bring in the Great Tusk, it looks like. Or the Frostmoth, okay, my bad. So the Frostmoth will take a little damage, and I would expect only Pokemon take significant on Charisma's end. Yep, the Pavilion comes down to its Focus Sash, but fortunately, that Friend Guard keeps the Iron Bundle in this game. But a double paralysis. So that'll mean Moxie's Pokemon will maintain the speed advantage on both of these opponents. But the Hydro Pump does force a trade for the Rotom. We might be having some
I
technical
do
difficulties.
apologize.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering what happened to you. But yeah.
I was, I was raving about the whole swapping into the Pavilion. That's just a super effective discharge. You've gone from a neutral matchup to a super effective one, which isn't ideal, but, Friend Guard does help you out there, as you mentioned.
Yeah. It ideally let the Iron Bundle survive that discharge and kind of keep going. Though this double paralysis.
Yeah, that's rough.
That Rotom. Like, it went down, but it left a nasty party gift. Like, I would expect. I'm not sure if the Frostmoth necessarily outspeeds the Iron Bundle now, because while it is paralyzed, it does have that booster energy boost. It probably just depends on how fast this Frostmoth is drained.
I don't imagine, is Tailwind still up? Oh no, Hydro Pump comes out as well.
Yep. 6 damage in
Good
the
damage,
Gambit.
though.
I think this is fair. Take a double KO, and then it'll be 3 against 1 against the Flutter Mane. And now the Flutter Mane is kind of forced to play these annoying Sucker Punch mind games. Like, sure, the Flutter Mane could predict the first Sucker Punch and get a substitute up, but at the same time, that's not necessarily guaranteed. Like, if you're, and we've seen earlier in the set that the Ice Beam does break the substitute.
As for the Wide Guard, which I think is just a bit superfluous at this point. Good Moonblast, though.
That is a little bit greedy. I'm not gonna lie.
May as well use it.
Oh, Tailwind. Okay, never mind. Tailwind, that will lock up the game because this Great Tusk will have the Focus Sash.
I thought I saw Wide Guard, my bad.
Okay, no worries. But yeah, now with the Tailwind up, this Great Tusk kind of just gets to... Yeah, and because Moxie has not terrestrialized yet, it can terrestrialize into that ground type, get rid of that fairy weakness, and just kind of clean up the Flutter Mane from here. So, yeah. I don't know if you can really say at this point, because... Yeah, Headlong Rush is pretty strong, man.
Do you reckon Charisma reads it and goes for attack?
I mean, I guess there's a...
There it is. Yeah, there we go. All right.
I mean, I guess...
I don't hate it.
No, I don't... I mean, I understand why, but at this point, there isn't really much of a chance. Like, if, say, maybe this Great Tusk had the Focus Sash broken earlier in the game, then there would have been a chance, but with that Focus Sash intact, this Great Tusk kind of just cleans it up. Yep, goes for the double.
Goes for the double. Yeah.
Like, in this hypothetical scenario, if you could, like, if the Sash was broken and you can get, like, 3 or 4 protects in a row to slow the Tailwind, I could definitely see going for that, but unfortunately, Moxie was very patient saving that Great Tusk, allowing them to kind of clean up in the end. And yeah, Moxie will be one of our 2 finalists. I don't remember if the other semifinal match was already played.
Yeah, the other one has. It's
okay.
Just finished now. I can get the results for you as of this moment. But that will continue Moxie's undefeated streak as charismacheck takes a round off.
Yeah. So
Moxie is your finalist against Juicius.
Yeah, no, this is looking to be exciting finals. I hope everyone's been enjoying watching the game this evening, and yeah, no, it's been... I haven't been able to cast too much, but it's been good to watch, and exciting play from both players. Yeah.